It was the smile and the blue eyes. He's a happy person. That was one of the other things that attracted me to him. He's always very optimistic about everything. The very first gift he ever gave me was a Bible. And that said to me then that our marriage would be based on those values. One of the sweetest things that I think of when the children were very, very small, and Frank was in high stress time at that period, and it helped him and it helped me a lot, but he used to come home at noon and rock whoever was a baby at the time and spend what I call sweet time.
November the 8th of 1955, we bought it. Signed the biggest note in my life. When we bought the business, we had 29 competitors and we were at the bottom of the list. And so we decided at a critical moment to manufacture our own cooking computers. And nobody else did this. In addition to that, we spent 2 solid years working on McDonald's business. They had the toughest requirements and the largest demand of anybody. And it turned out that everybody in the company said we ought not to keep going because we just sunk so much money. But it was absolutely the right thing to do, and I wouldn't let them quit. But I think the first time we really made a major breakthrough was with Kentucky Fried Chicken. That was our first major international account, and Colonel Sanders even became a personal friend. Every time I visited Shelbyville, he had me in his home. I spent the night there. His wife cooked my breakfast. I mean, that was a fabulous account.
After Frymaster was merged with Sunbeam, Frank began to look around for other opportunities. He was able to put deals together. He bought and sold. We traveled all over the United States.
One year I looked at my calendar for the previous year and I found I'd been gone 60 Saturdays and Sundays. That's a lot of time away. So you do get some guilt in this because you never coached soccer or football, or we didn't have soccer then, but we had football and baseball.
But when he was in town, he always made sure he was home to have dinner at 6 o'clock. It was regular, as clockwork.
There's nothing about my childhood that I would look back and say, gee, I wish it were different. I felt like, in looking back, that I was very well prepared to be an adult.
Gave us everything we needed, but not everything we wanted. Which, at 15, it's kind of tough when you don't get what you want, you know.
You know, I never felt like there was anything that took second place to us. He has always demonstrated a very dear love for my mom, and you know, that taught me.
He loves his family more than anything. Everything that's here around us now was done for the family. Everything was focused on the family, providing for the family, not just in a material way, but in being what a father is supposed to be, which, as far as I'm concerned, is my father.
One of my hobbies is that I play in a band. Not his style of music, by any means. But when we play in public, not always, but he shows up. He stays for about an hour, and that's what I'd call supportive.
I know there have been times when I'd watch him with them, and he would just walk up to one of them and just hug them real tight. And like, that's a very precious moment. And it was.
His relationship with God and with Jesus Christ is very important. And that's something that he fulfills every day.
But Frank thanks the Lord frequently when you have lunch with Frank, on almost any occasion, you're going to bow your head for a moment of prayer before lunch, even publicly, very quietly. But that's a mark of the man's abiding faith.
There are a couple of lines from literature that remind me of Frank. One is Kipling's famous line, "If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds of distance run, then yours is the world and everything that's in it. And what is more, you'll be a man, my son." Frank certainly has packed a lot into the life that he's led.
Frank Moore's a man of all seasons, man for all seasons. I think that he is the epitome of a dedicated family man. I think his religious life is very important to him, and it's apparent. And I think he balanced his business life and now his civic and charitable endeavors. He balanced that very well. So he's truly a man for all seasons.
He's a individual that you feel like you can make a deal with a handshake.
He's solid. He's a person of integrity. He's a person of sensitivity, and that I'm honored to be counted among his circle of friends and to be able to call him one of my best friends.
He's accomplished so much and is such a terrific guy that it's sometimes hard to put into words. It's just an emotion that has kind of welled in me for 30 years. Just is overflowing the warmth he has for us and what I feel for him.
I can think of no other man that I'd like to be like, that I try to tailor myself after.
The thing I would sum it up with to him would be to say thank you for taking a difficult hand that life dealt you and for turning it around, and thanks for being just a great role model, and thanks for being a great dad.